at 800-273-TALK. Brought to you by the state of Washington.
1, 2, get down.
What's up, big and little homies? This is Masvita Maraire, host of Seattle Sports Weekly on Rainier Avenue Radio World, your one-stop shop for Seattle sports. We cover preps, we cover college, we cover pro, we cover it all. Huskies, Mariners, Seahawks, Garfield, South, Roosevelt, Metro, King County. This is where you want to listen to for all the sports that's happening in Seattle. Seattle Sports Weekly on Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Do you want to reach out to the Vietnamese community in Seattle? Just advertise in Le Viet Tây Bắc, that is Northwest Vietnamese, the longest running Vietnamese language newspaper in our region. Go to nvnorthwest.com.
Women Empowerment Talk Radio, your roadmap to business success. Tune in every Sunday at 3 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio World, providing resources and sharing motivational experiences from the everyday entrepreneur. Tune in Women Empowerment Talk Radio every Sunday, 3 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Hey, this is serious. Let's talk about saving lives. Fentanyl overdoses are rising and it can happen to anyone. But here's the good news. Naloxone, also known as Narcan, can reverse an opioid overdose. Yeah, it's that powerful. Naloxone is easy to use and it could save a life in minutes. It comes as a nasal spray and you don't need to be a doctor to use. If someone you know overdoses, spray it in their nose, call 911 and stay with them. You could be the reason they wake up.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for this? This is Rainier Avenue Radio World, the station that cares about our community.
Welcome to Seniors Matter. I'm Brenda Charles Edwards, the host of Seniors Matter. We're live every Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on www.rainieravenueradio.world, your South Seattle community radio station. You can also listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, and of course on the Rainier Avenue Radio app. We feature interviews with people that provide services or have valuable information for seniors, their families, and the community. Do you need financial documents notarized? Are you a person that needs documents read to you for clarity or completion? Give me a call, Brenda, at Black Orchid Notary, 206-683-2636. Tell me where, I'll meet you there. Well, today, my guest is Robert Bassett. Actually, it's Robert D. Bassett Jr., a Navy veteran who is also known as Delano C. Baychester in the music world. Welcome to the show, sir. And he's also known as MC Class. He's a DJ too. How are you, sir?
I'm trying to throw my hands up and give the, pyramid sign, but that might mean something else. This is the one I'm talking about.
Okay, so you know what? You need to be a little clearer because.
Oh, you talking? Look.
No, it's kind of breaking up.
All right, we going to fix that right now.
And this is a man that is in this world of technology, so I know he will have it together here shortly. So this is Veterans Day weekend, and there's lots of celebrations going on. But we wanted to take the time, even though it's Friday, to talk to a veteran. He's a Navy veteran. He was stationed at Sub Base Bangor in Bremerton, Washington. And I had a picture to show, but the location that I'm in is not letting me send it. But I do want to tell you just a little bit about Bangor Sub Base. It's the primary nuclear missile submarine base on the West Coast, covering the Pacific, just as the subbase at Kings Bay, Georgia, covers the Atlantic. It has one of the largest collections of nuclear weapons in the country, with approximately 1,700 Trident missiles either stored at its Hilltop Depot or on board its fleet of 8 Trident submarines, which roam the seas on secret missions. That is a lot of manpower. The base covers over 7,000 acres on the shores of Hood Canal and Puget Sound, and was activated as a sub-base in 1977 after being established as a munition depot in the World War II. In 2004, Naval Submarine Base Bangor merged with Naval Station Bremerton to form Naval Base Kitsap, now the official name for both bases. It is among the largest military bases in the nation. Now, with all that said, how did you choose the Navy?
How did I choose the Navy?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You want a big, long story? You getting feedback or you good?
Getting a little feedback.
Okay, so I will have to turn this down. How about now?
That sounds a little better.
Okay. So I'm not going to be able to hear myself because this is live. So if it sounds good, give me the thumbs up. Oh, I like the fireworks in the background. Cool. All right, so this is what's popping. I was 17 years old. I was working at a place called Cy Sims in New York, and I just got fired because I was about to get in a union. And it was the first job that taught me how to dress. It was a beautiful job. I learned how to match my colors and put my, like how to tie a tie and pick the right cotton and everything like that. And then I became friends with one of the guys there, and we were so tight that the union, they didn't want me to be in the union because they felt it was probably a problem. So I ended up homeless. No, we go back to that part. I ended up jobless. And before that, I had a stint where my mom got sick and I ended up homeless. So I ended up moving in with a family member. And from there, I moved around until I got my own place. And I was working at Cy Sims at the time. And I had a roommate. I had a doorman and everything. I was living a life at 16 and a half, and she didn't know. She thought I was 21. I was 16 and a half. And she was like, wait a minute, or 17 and a half, I remember. So I ended up not being able to pay the rent. So I was trying to make up a decision, and I talked to my family, and they was like, well, go in the military. So I was like, well, I don't want to go in the Army. I was clear about that. I didn't want to go in the Marines, because they would have threw me out. They would have threw me out the door. Get this fool out of here, right? So anyway, I wanted to get in the Air Force, but my math score wasn't high enough, or one of the scores I did wasn't high enough. But I applied for the Navy, and when I did, I didn't have a job title. I just needed to get the hell out of New York City. So I just went in. And when I got in, they kept showing this tape of this being a boatswain's mate, where a guy got his leg cut off. They kept showing me the tape where the rope would snap and kill people, right? And I was like, well, I don't want that to be me. So he said, well, when you get out of when you get out of the boot camp, make sure you choose a job. So that if you go into AT or after boot camp, you got to choose something. So I heard radio man. I was like, ooh, that sounds tight. I'll be on the radio, rocking the mic, all that.
You were a DJ ahead of your time, huh?
Well, yeah, I guess you can say that because I had no idea what a radio man is. But I said, well, let me just choose that. And I ended up in San Diego. So in San Diego, I ended up going to Radio Manet School. And I had a problem, though. I was failing, right? I was not doing good. I was not doing good.
Oh, okay.
So they said, you know, you got one more time to pass this class. Then this happened in boot camp too. You have one more time to pass this class, or you're going to be sent back to New York. And I was like, oh, hell no, I ain't going back to New York. So I studied my butt off. And I had a problem talking because I was used to rapping all the time. So, you know, people just thought it was, you know, me being crazy. You know, he's crazy. He just raps. I didn't know how to really talk because all I did was rap. So anyway, I ended up passing this test. Now, let's go back to boot camp. I'm going to do this real quick. When I was in boot camp, I didn't know how to swim. So they threw me in the water, and I grabbed the first thing I could. And there was a guy there, and I grabbed him, and I was holding him. And they let me, I let him go. And the guy said, if you don't pass the swimming test, you're going back to the Bronx.
Oh, gosh.
Within 10 minutes, I learned how to swim.
Really?
10 minutes. I just watched. And then I was like, okay, jumped in, swam. And he said, congratulations, you're a fourth class swimmer. Now get the hell out of here. Well, he used more harsher words than that.
Thank you for sharing
I ended up in Bremerton. Yeah, his lingo wasn't that good. Anyway, I ended up in Bremerton, Washington. And I'm thinking I'm going because I'm used to partying, having a good time. Because when we got out of boot camp, we went to I think it was ATA school or something. I forgot the name. And we just hung out, had a good time. It was amazing. I was having the time of my life. Then I got transferred after Radio Manet School. I got transferred to Sub-Base Bank. It was completely different.
How so?
I remember I went to the club in some leather pants and a polo shirt and got there and they were playing country western music. That's a true story. I was like, oh, snap.
Okay.
And then tell you another challenge I had. I'd never driven a car before.
Oh, really?
And
because in New York, you guys, yeah. Okay.
And in Bremerton, Washington, you can't get around without a car.
Right.
So I'm like stuck on this base. Either I'm going to listen to this country western music or I'm going to get off this base. So there's this guy named Robert. He was a submariner, white guy. He taught me, he said, I'll make a deal with you. If you teach me how to drive, I'll teach you. If you teach me how to talk to the ladies, I'll teach you how to drive. I was like, all right, cool. I almost drove off a cliff.
With him in it.
He got out of the car, got on the other side of the car, pulled the car back, put the car in drive and said, drive us home, and went to sleep.
Ooh.
Now, this is people would consider him a nerd. Thick glasses, short dude. Anyway, he taught me how to drive. And we went out to a club and somebody was messing with him. And he was like, I'm going to go get my brother. And they would say, yeah, go ahead, get your brother. So he came and got me. And I was like, what's the problem? He said, you his brother? I said, yeah. And then he was like, oh, nah, ain't no problem. Oh, I thought so. And then I walked away. You good? He was like, yeah, I'm good. Boom. He pulled a lady that night. True story.
So I'm curious. So the radio, what type of radio did you end up working on? Since it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, DJ.
Well, my job was to put the communication system together, which it ended up being totally where I'm at now, because then I was learning how to patch panel. I had to put radio stations up in less than 15 minutes.
Mm.
And if you didn't, you would get kicked out and sent home. So I learned how to do that. And then when I got to Sub-Bass Banger, I was just in charge of traffic. You know, I can't really get into detail.
No,
but
no,
let's say I was in
I
charge of-
yeah, no, that's no problem. I'm just
So
trying to get an idea of what type of radio, since it wasn't the type that you thought it was.
No, it wasn't radio. But what was funny is I was there bored to death, so I would get on and I would call my friend at a radio station. So I'd be like, "Yo, what's up, man?" He'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" And I talked to him, and just so happened to be KRZ Radio.
Ah,
And then he would talk to me, and I'd call him, and then I call him when I wasn't working. Well, I call him on my break time, and we was just rap. And next thing you know, he'd be like, "Yeah, why don't you come out to the radio station?" His name was Sergio LaCour.
Oh yeah.
1420 KRIZ, the Z.
Right. Right. I remember.
And, I used to talk to him all the time, and then he'd invite me over to the station, and I became friends with Frank Peeberry.
Oh yeah, Frank's still there.
Yeah, he was. So now we talking about back in the 80s all the way up to now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're both still there.
Yeah.
So
let's fast track forward to when you became interested in. Well, obviously you were already interested in music before you went into the Navy, but I heard that recently you were in Seattle visiting an art gallery. Which one was it, and why were you there?
I'm in. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's
was it the Seattle Art
No, I'm
Museum?
gonna go ahead and look at it on my phone, but it was like the weirdos, a bunch of weirdos. Yeah, I got to say it right because, man, yo, first and foremost, before I even go there, I'm sending blessings and love out to Nasty Ness Rodriguez. Nasty Ness also pushed my label and a lot of people's record label, and he's in need right now. He's in the hospital, and people should support him. I mean, he blew up a lot of artists like Sir Mix-a-Lot and Kid Sensation and anybody who's anybody. He blew him up. So this guy right now needs everyone's help, and I'm putting my word out because this guy helped me when I put out the Black Rose album. He always showed me love, man. This guy showed me major love, and I don't really know how to tell people that this guy needs help now. And the hip hop community definitely needs their own medical, dental, and all that. Yes, I agree. Artists don't have anything to rely on after putting out their art for free to a lot of people, and people don't really respect that. So I'm saying personally, as MC Class of Brothers of the Same Mind, we need to support Nasty Nets because he needs our help. Get this guy what he needs so he can get out that hospital, because it's very tragic to see this, and I don't want to go on with it.
Right.
But,
And but also there's a GoFundMe that has been set up for him.
Yeah.
So let's see, it's gofundme.com/support Nasty Ness Rodriguez Road to Recovery. So you know, guys know how to get on GoFundMe, so go help him out, please.
Right.
So did you find that art gallery that you went to for that particular?
I didn't, you know what? I didn't end up going to the gallery. We ended up taking pictures for I'm trying to find the name of the event because it's on my phone, and I'm just like, I should have had this before.
That's okay. Well,
okay.
I know you've been in the business for a while, and you've recorded some songs. In fact, the song that we started with is one of yours. It's called Ragtime Mastered. And
it's called Ragtime, not Mastered. I sent you the master.
Oh, that master was okay. Let me take that
I
out.
have to write down what it is so I can remember what it is.
I understand. I understand. But you were
it's
also in a
Ragtime off the Black Rose album.
okay. But you were also in a group called Brothers of the Same Mind, right?
Yes, that's how I was. It's not enough time to tell you the whole story, but I hooked up with Sergio LaCour, became good friends with him. Then I ended up going to Mix-a-Lot's party. I used to run a nightclub in Bremerton, Washington, where people used to come to my parties. Mix-a-Lot came, and I was a DJ at the time. And me and Terry used to come to my party on my horizon. He got great rib spot. This guy is the man. Anyway, we had Mix-a-Lot come to the parties. He used to come from Seattle, come visit Bremerton. And I used to go to Seattle. And I used to have a guy named Kevin. I don't remember his last name. I'm sorry. Because me and him fell out. He used to make my beats. And I would catch the ferry from Bremerton, go over there and get these beats made. And then he would reschedule me. And one time he made this beat. It was ridiculous. And I was happy. I mean, he wasn't there, so his brother made a beat. And then when he came back, he erased the whole board. And I went to get us something to eat, came back, and I went off. And then I said, I need to find my own group. I bought a drum machine. And I met Mr. Swift, which is a DJ, and B Max, which did beats. And we were all introduced by Daniel, Born Supreme. That's the main DJ in Seattle right now. And he introduced us, and we formed a group called The Last Poets. Well, we can't use that. But we put a Z at the end, so he told me to get away with it. And then one day I was listening to this record from Public Enemy, and he said, "We're brothers of the same mind. I'm blind." I was like, that's it. So we took the name Brothers of the Same Mind, and we were in the Source. We were in the Source, Unsigned Hype. It was the first group to get in the Unsigned Hype.
Tell my listening audience what the Source is, please.
The Source is like the main rap magazine. If you are anybody, you made it to the Source. That's why you couldn't pay your way at the time. You couldn't pay your way in that book. Either you was dope or you wasn't. That's it.
Okay. And then there was one other thing. You said beats, and I'm assuming it's BEATS. Explain that for those
beats
that may not know.
All right, music. Let's speak musical terms. The rhythm, the music itself. I mean, the stuff that makes you move, the beats, the kick, the snare, the hi-hat. That's the beat. I could rap all day and make it all complete, get you out of your seat. But let's go back to you.
No, and
that's what I do. I'm an MC.
Right. No, I totally get that. But and at the end,
an MC, but I was a DJ first.
Okay.
Because I used to take my father's record and ruin them.
So let me ask you something real quick. Okay. So your experience, how long were you in the Navy?
I was in the Navy for 4 years and then an additional 2.
Okay. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So did your experience in the Navy carry over into your life?
It all carried over. Remember, I was doing patch panels.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a recording studio, you're using patch panels. You're using chords. But now you're doing it digitally. You're able to go on your computer and do the same thing that you could have done moving chords. So that's one thing. I was in charge of the traffic to make sure everything ran smooth. So dispatch, we had big dispatch back then. I was in charge of moving them at every hour. Well, in a recording studio, you got Ampex 466, where you put that on a machine. and then play it. And your music, I mean, you record on it. It was expensive at the time. So from that, if you see how it's going, I was always going in that direction, and I didn't know it. So I would say God had me going in this direction the whole time. And I was oblivious to what I was doing. I was just having fun being a vessel to keep it moving.
Right.
So I hope I answered that. Did I answer that?
You did, because it is interesting how things we do in our lives will sometimes lead us to where we are. And when we look back, we see that it had created a foundation for us that we weren't really even aware of. So that makes perfect sense to me.
Well, it was always a foundation to begin with. A lot of us don't know because we make decisions thinking that we're not making the right decisions, but every decision is going in whatever direction you're supposed to be going in. And I didn't know it.
Right.
I had no idea I was going to be in a rap group. In fact, this guy was telling me, yo, you can make money rapping. I was like, you're a liar. Shut up. He was like, look, let me prove it. I'm going to get you on stage. This was in Bremerton, Washington. He got me on stage when I got off. The guy said, oh my God, you're amazing. I just came off the top of my head, said some 15 minutes. I got paid $350. Well, and I was like, are you serious? You can make money doing this? Name is Roy. And he would say, yeah, man, Fury Rock. And then some. And at the time, my name was Rock and Rob, and that wasn't going to work. So I went out with these girls. Me and him met some girls, and he was like, yo, I would open the door for the lady. I would ask her, is there anything you would like? I would pull her chair out and have her sit. And her friend was like, yo, I like him. He's got a lot of class. And then I said, then my boy punched me on the arm and said, well, he's an MC too. And then I got the name MC Class from that. And this all happened in Washington State. Everything happened in Washington State.
All right, DC, we're running out of time. I want to play some more of your music as we go out. And I just want to say to my listening and viewing audience, thank you for your support. Don't forget to thank a veteran for their service, because we couldn't do it without them. And I hope you have a great weekend. You're safe and live your life like it's golden. We'll be talking later. Take care. Thank you. And thank you to your sister for bringing you into my world today.
Oh, yeah.
God bless. Great weekend.